Hey everybody, this is Joe from HomeStudioCorner.com, and today is a follow-up to yesterday's blog post about ear training. And I did this on drums about a week and a half ago, and it was pretty fun, so I thought I'd do it for bass this week. So here's the article, and I explained just a little bit about what we're doing and posted two clips here. One of just an original bass, and the second clip I had done some sort of processing to it. And you guys were supposed to guess as to what that was. Now, if we look down, we got 16 responses here, and we'll go through those just real briefly to see what you guys guessed. Joel says we probably took some EQ out, rolled off some of the low end, took a specific low-mid frequency down. If there was compression, not much, and maybe a bit of reverb. Sydney says high-pass filtered, and then something like max bass to emphasize the upper harmonics to make the bass appear louder. Chad thinks I put a high shelf EQ boost around 8K and a little bit of compression. Michael thought that I cut everything below 60 hertz, and then some of the low mid around 250 was taken out, and then a boost around 4K, and then some light compression. And Steven says some compression and a boost at 1K. Neil thinks there's a boost between 600 and 1000 hertz, and maybe a cut or a shelf in the very bottom end around 100 hertz. Nathan says compression for sure, with a slower attack, maybe a 4-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio, with a little bit of a high-pass filter. And he also thinks I may have put something like max bass or Renaissance bass on there to strengthen the overtones and the overall harmonics of the track. So all good guesses. Brian says he's hearing compressing. He thinks he's hearing compression, but not sure. Michael says he didn't hear any different, and that there's no difference between the two tracks. Carlisle didn't have a guess for us. Ricardus says some mild compression, nothing too aggressive, and then looks like he said a peak at 60 and another at 300. And then, let's see, David thinks they sound the same, but he does say that there's a limiter used. And then Wayne says a high pass around 100 with a EQ boost at 1.5 to 2 kilohertz. Well, these are all, he also says parallel compression. Well, these are all great. And the winner of today's contest is actually going to be, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be Joel, who was the very first one to comment here. And we'll get back to that in a second. So first, let me play you the clip. This is with the plugin bypassed in Pro Tools, and then I'll play it again with the plugin and just let you hear it. Okay, and now I'll play it one more time through and just kind of toggle turning the EQ on and off. All right, so the first thing you'll notice is all I have is an EQ. So for those of you that guessed compression and limiting, you were wrong, actually. So nothing personal, but for me, I probably may have guessed some of those things too. But it's interesting to, a lot of times we'll reach for a compressor and a limiter and an EQ and all these other things thinking we need them without listening to it first. That's one of the big points I wanted to make with this was listen to it first and then make your decisions. So you guys, most of you were hearing some significant changes between the two, and you guys had all sorts of guesses, but let me show you actually what I did. Like I said, I just did an EQ, and here are the settings that I used. As you can see, Joel was probably the closest. What I did, there's no high-pass filter at all. I didn't roll off any of the bottom end, but what I did do is take around, let's see, what is this, 86 hertz, and did a huge cut there. and then I also rolled off the top end above everything above around 4 kilohertz or so. So let's we'll hit play again, and I'll take these in and out, and you can hear the differences that those are making. Okay. Now the high end, you can't. It's very subtle, and if you're watching this on YouTube, chances are you may not even be able to hear that part. But the big noticeable part is right here, and basically this particular bass, it has I believe it's got humbucker pickups. It's just got a lot of tone down there in the bottom end, and usually it's a little bit much in the context of a mix, and so bringing down a lot of that low mid information, which could be anywhere from 80 hertz up to 150 hertz or even higher, depending on where that bass tends to resonate. But for this particular bass, this frequency around 86 hertz was just a lot. There was a lot going on there. And if we play it and boost it, you'll hear what I'm talking about. Now, that's not to say it sounds bad at all, but in the context of a mix, that's just almost too much in that 86 hertz range. Bringing it down actually flattened out this tone fairly well. And so that's it. So those of you that guess compression, there's none going on. The only difference here is that I notched out a little bit here. And what that translates to is actually it seems like it has more bottom end, and it seems like it has a little more top end. And this is a big important thing that I try to cover quite a bit here on Home Studio Corner is I would much prefer that you do EQ cuts and take things away rather than doing boosts. Now, does that mean that I never do a boost when I'm mixing something? No, I'll use boost occasionally. But 9 times out of 10, if I cut out certain frequencies, it has the effect of boosting the others without introducing more gain into the system. So instead of coming here and making this a shelf or a parametric or something like that, and boosting down here at 40 hertz, and then boosting up here at 1 or 2 kilohertz, there's nothing wrong with that. But I found the main problem was this frequency right here. That's where all the issues were happening. And by cutting that out, I essentially made your ears think that I had boosted all the other frequencies, when in actuality, I simply just cut this one. So that's a fun little trick, and obviously this is one specific bass on one specific song, but in the context of a bigger mix, I think you'll find it works out fairly well. And I will leave you with, obviously, anything you do with mixing needs to be done in the context of a mix. And so let me go ahead and play this for you with the rest of the tracks from the song, and you'll get an idea of why I did what I did. So let's see how that sounds. Now, if I take out that EQ, you'll hear it's just a little too much going on there. The bass has more definition, cuts through a little more, and doesn't sound quite as round as it does, more biting and a little more, has a little more cut through to it, if that's a word. It cuts through the mix a little bit better. And that's it. So thanks again for watching this. Hopefully it gave you some ideas for when you're going to mix your next song and messing with bass. And again, I'm Joe Gilder from HomeStudioCorner.com, and we'll see you around here hopefully soon.